Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, welcome back to the Scale Model Outlaw. If this is your first time being here, welcome to the Scale Model Outlaw. We are back on our pacer. Last time we left, we had just put on our last layer of the red Bondo glazing putty. And now, guys, we've got it all sanded off, cleaned up, and ready for primer. I don't know how well you can see it, but there's one side, there's the other side on our pacer window delete. I'm sure when we spray it with our primer that it's going to show us where we've had some mistakes. Maybe didn't get everything where we needed it, but that's what primer's for. I'm sorry guys, I'm not losing track. I'm just looking for mistakes. Like I said, I'm just trying to dig into see what I can see. But alright, the next step up, after we've got all that done, we're going to set that aside for now. The next step up is our taillight bezels. We talked on some of the other videos about what we're going to do with our taillight bezels. This is, well, more or less, if I can get it staying there to show you. That's what the taillight bezel is supposed to look like in there. Well, I want to put it in there, glue it in there, sand it, and basically lose the bezel itself. We'll probably keep the little light that's in the bezel. Maybe we'll keep the little. I hadn't made up my mind there yet. It's supposed to be probably the reverse light, but I think my goal is to get the chrome off, put them in there, basically lose those lines, smooth it all off, get it pretty. And then when we put in our tail light, that all you really see is the tail light. When we get ready to spray it our final color, the bezel will be the same color as the rest of the car. You won't even know there's a bezel there. And here's some side picture of it. Basically, like that bezel doesn't go all the way down into that V. I'm going to get rid of all that and make it all nice and smooth so that body line follows the bottom of where the bezel used to be around. Now, how do we get the chrome off of there? I'm sure you guys have seen this trick 1,000 times. I have actually gone through already with my knife, and because I wasn't wanting to keep the chrome where I sanded and scraped off the body lines, I just gone ahead and took the chrome with me. So how do we get rid of the chrome? It's not a secret. There's a bunch of different ways to do it. I personally use purple power. Keep it in a big jug. I own a small shop where we keep 5-gallon buckets of this stuff, so I'm a little blessed there. Let my shop pay for my purple power. But we'll throw a little bit of purple power in this little cup, set it up here, and blink, blink, drop them in there. It usually takes, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes. Hopefully by the end of this video we'll be able to take them out, get that chrome off, and be ready to move forward. So while those guys are soaking, we're going to put them, we'll put them over here where they're not going to hurt anything. And while those guys are soaking, another part of what we want to do is get rid of this body trim right here. Molding, trim, whatever you want to call it. I want to get rid of that, but hey, let me get my pointer so I'm not blocking what you guys can see. This trim right here's got to go. Molding, trim, whatever. And then this body line, but I want to keep this body line that rides right here. So the body will eventually, instead of coming up, hitting the molding, and then bloop into the body line, it's just going to come up, no molding, body line, and ride out. I think it'll look a lot better without it. So how do we get rid of that? Well, we're going to have to sand it off, grind it off, file it off. In our case, I believe we're going to do most of the work with a small flat file. But just like when we were sanding on our windows, we don't want to sand away any detail. So what I think we're going to do with this one, I know we're going to do with this one, we're going to tape it off first, and then we'll go to using our file, hopefully I can use my file on there. Pretty positive I can. But today's video is going to be about us taping it off, and a great way to do it. I showed you the other way, taping it all the way around the outside, not paying a whole lot of attention to it, just making sure it was close to our line so we didn't lose any detail. This one, we'll do it the other way, which is a little more intense as far as getting it right, but hopefully my tape will let me do it. This tape might not let me do it, might not be able to pull the detail out of it. Alright, so we want to put the tape across the line, and let's see if we can do it. I don't know, guys, that tape is not wanting, maybe. Maybe. Alright, so what we're trying to do is get that tape on there and be able to have that molding come through. What I want to do now is get me a little toothpick. Toothpick will help with our detail lines. So I'm going to come along, and again I'm going to block you with my video or my club, but we're going to come along here with a toothpick and ride that body line out. That is going to help us tremendously when it comes to getting this tape to lay down. Look at that. You might not be able to see it there, but I'm trying to. Yeah, it's doing what I want it to do. I hope you can see it. And guys, I keep saying this every video. We're going to get better at this camera thing. Right now we're working with what we got, but it will get better. Alright, so now we know this would have been like the chrome part behind the molding. This would be the black part, and then this would be the chrome part. So we still got to get up above that, right? Because we want that gone. We'll come on the back side of it, on the top up here, and this is actually going to be the line that we use for our knife to cut the center of the tape out, leaving us, oh no, it's not either, I'm sorry, that's the window. Well, we found that. That's the line we're trying to keep. Alright, that makes sense. Alright, so that's the line we're trying to keep. We want to leave our tape on that. If you can see it, I've tried to highlight it where this is the line that we said we were going to keep. It comes up to the window, and this one is the one we're going to remove. So we come on the bottom side of this and take our little toothpick and ride along the edge. We're just trying to get the tape tucked down in there, so when we come along with our knife, we know where we're at. That might make a little more sense to you. There we go. Now this top line is going to be super tricky because, again, we're real close together, right? We got this line we're trying to save, and this line's going bye-bye. So let's rub this out. See if we can't get this tape where we want it. Lay it down. Get this guy stuck down there now. I usually, when I put this on, guys, I'll leave it, mash it down on the piece that I'm trying to move or get rid of, and then try to push it this way from the center out, or from the piece you're working on out. If you lay it all down and stick it tight, when you go to run your toothpick, it won't necessarily pull up tight enough to do what you want to do. You won't be able to guide that, ride that line as well. So basically you're trying to stretch the tape over the molding so you can see it to cut it out. And guys, you don't have to be perfect at this. If you don't get it right and you sand in some spots that you're not supposed to, we can go back to our glaze and putty and that sort of thing to get us where we need to be. Alright. Got our trusty super sharp knife out. But I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know how long I've had that blade in there. So I want to change it out to another new gold blade. I don't use these gold blades on everything, but when I want something that I want to cut it real detailed and really close and really tight, I make sure I use these guys because they are super sharp and they work great. I know I'm off camera probably doing this, but with this blade, I don't want to run out here. So we got our new blade on there. Pick up our blades, put them back. I keep the blade, the gold blade, I keep it over here. I may have talked about this before too, but I keep that blade. It's not worthless now. It's just not one that I want in a situation like this where I'm cutting, and I have to, cutting real fine, and I have to be just right. So I'm going to try to make sure I got what I need. And try to do this where both of us can see. Let me get I'm going to put my extra eyes on. So I can if I do that though, I'm probably going to have to pull it up close. Alright, let's not do that. Alright, we're going to free eyeball it. And that probably will be a mistake because the older I get, the less I can see, but hopefully our toothpick will have done its job. And we can just ride that edge. Ooh, that's fun. Guys, I almost can't see this because of my glasses not being, but I can feel that edge of that, where that toothpick was. I felt it just come off of it too. Where that toothpick laid that tape down, I can feel that edge. So even though I can't really see, I mean I can see it, but I can't see it. But see, I felt like I got off of it there. But between the feeling it and what little bit of it I can see, put us right where we needed to be. That's amazing. Alright, same way with the top up here. We're going to come from back here. This one should be a little bit easier. Alright. This one's got a little bit higher ridge. Alright, here we go. This is the super careful area because this is right up in that dip, right in that little spot that we don't want to cut into. Ooh. I know I'm getting quiet, but that's because I'm focusing, guys. I'll be back in just a second, per se. I'll get to that window door, and I lost my line. But there it is. And window door. What the hell's a window door? How about a door window? There we go. Alright. Now, we should be able to check our work. Hopefully I can see right there I got down too low, but that's fine because when we get our sandpaper, we're just using that as a buffer. Whew! Alright guys, let's see how this turned out. Just to keep my club out of the way, I'm going to get us a pair of tweezers. Little tweezers. Aha, there they are. Sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees. Alright, trying to keep my club out of the way. Yeah, you can see you can see exactly where I hit that window frame. But we got 3/4 of it dead on nuts. Dead on nuts. Look at that. Ooh, we got lucky fellers. Excuse me. We got lucky ladies and gentlemen. I don't want to exclude the ladies. I'm sure there's plenty out there that are building models like we are. Like I said, my girl's got her hobby. It's not really models, but she has hobbies too. That's why she comes and steals some of my supplies when I'm not looking, but that's another story altogether. Alright, see, let's do it again. That window, let's try, or that door window, it's trying to give me a hard time. Alright, let's see if we can pop that off of there now. Take my little tweezers. Let's do slices. Dang it. One of the other slices got in there, but again, that's fine. It's not if this was, we were trying to paint, that would be different. But again, if we were trying to paint, we wouldn't be using tape. We'd be using our Scale Finishes green mask. I mean, I do use some tape, but I try to use the Scale Finishes green mask and stuff because it's so much easier to work with. We still got a little high there, but we'll be alright. Sandpaper will help us out when we get in there. Get it out of the way. Especially out here in front of that body line, because do not want to lose that. And these things are a process, guys. That's why I try to focus on the process, not the end result. And by that I mean work on what you're working on. As far as if this right now is the process, and I'm not thinking about the end of the build. I'm thinking about this process right here. I think I heard it from Lucas C. I think Lucas said that Mark Batson said it to him, but treat every part of the model as if it were a kit in itself. So every part of the kit that you do, treat it like a model itself. So we treated the back as if it was a model. Worked on that, focused on that, got that taken care of. And now we'll do the same thing on here. I could probably come along now with I could probably get another little piece of tape. Get a little piece of tape, see if we can't fix that. Because look, as you can see, we did a great job on 90% of it, but that last little bit right there is popped up. So I'm going to see if I can't get a small piece of tape, use the straight edge from the tape, and keep it all squared up that way. Let's see what happens. There we go. Yeah, I like that better. Again, it's not a paint job, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but we want to try to save all the detail that we don't want to take off. And that's downhill a little bit, isn't it? Again, it'll probably be fine. This is me being a perfectionist. I don't know if it's perfectionism or if it's just... Alright, I can live with that one for sure. There we go. How's that? I mean, honestly, if you were painting it, you could probably paint that on there and it would be just about right, but we're not painting it. We're using it as a protector to sand against. Alright, we're going to set that aside for a bit and pull up our bezels. Now we got our little tweezers out and see if maybe this chrome's off. It is. Look at that. All gone, guys. Chrome's all gone. Just in that little bit of time. Let me get a paper towel here. Just in that little bit of time of soaking in there, it took all the chrome right off. It could stand a little longer. It's kind of yellowish, but it doesn't matter because we're going to sand it, prime it, go over it anyway. I did find my 31. I've actually primered it with our super primer from Scale Finishes. I wanted to give you guys an idea of how it works, as far as it does a little bit of filling. Most primers do, but it does a little bit of filling and works great for that. So let me get these guys dried off and we'll get started on that a little bit. Right. So again, when we talked about primer, we're going to primer it. I don't keep sticking to my pad. I thought I might like this pad for contrast, but I'm beginning to not like it. A primer will fill in some of our fills here, and if nothing else, it'll show us where we got to come back and maybe add some more Bondo. Same way here, but in the same way with the taillights. So, that's what primer's there for. It's your first. It helps the paint adhere, obviously, to the plastic, but it also gives us an opportunity to look at it and see what's going on and make sure we've done all our prep work, because everybody gotta tell you, and even in models, if you don't get the base right, anything you put on top of it, it's just going to look like crap too. But here is my 32 delivery, or at least the main part of the body from a 32 delivery. This is a 1/16 scale model, so it's a pretty good bit larger than the rest of them. The back, you can see where we were just started scribing out for the door, but I've chopped this literally 1/4 of an inch, which I think in scale is like close to 6 inches. I could be wrong about that, but it's pretty close. But if you look real close right there, you can still see where I've got some work to do to fill in that line. But that cut went right along the bottom of this sill, and we brought the whole thing down together. And for the most part, we got it pretty good. This side looks really well. We were able to, I had to work on this to save this line, build this up. On this one, I wasn't as good with my tape as I should have been, and that's why if you look, it's kind of on both sides. This one you can really tell if you look at it. You can tell I had to rebuild that, and I'm still not done with it. But spraying this primer on it, our Scale Finishes Super Primer on it, again, it gives you the opportunity to look and see if you've got some scratches or some pieces that you've missed, and gives you the opportunity to go back and keep working at it, so when you do finally lay down your coat of paint, you know that it's going to be right. Really love their products. ScaleFinishes.com, and of course, now that we're talking about them, let's not forget, go to ScaleFinishes.com. Get your cart all filled up with their awesome products, everything from all your paint needs, Flexifile, flocking. They have flocking as well. We're going to be doing some talk about that here in a little while, maybe hopefully next week when the product gets here. We got some flocking coming. The great folks at Scale Finish. I'm sorry guys, we're looking at trying to figure out if that yellow is going to work or not. Great folks at Scale Finishes were awesome enough to give us a 10% discount. So when you get to ScaleFinishes.com, get your cart all loaded up, scroll to the bottom, and punch in your Outlaw 10 code. That's Outlaw, all in caps, 10, and get 10% off. Alright guys, we're going to call this one a video for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please feel free to leave comments. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, share with your friends, and let us know what you think. Have a good one. Be safe.